Hello everyone, my name is Austin Wyman and this is my personal negotiation project. Starting with the parties, there was myself, who was a project manager at Jam Electric. My power was relationship power and personality power, and my goals were to earn a promotion from project manager to the head of the project management department, and to build continuity and foster teamwork among that department. My negotiation opponent was Walter Orr, who is the Director of Business Operations at Jam Electric. His power was informational power and positional power, and his goal was to manage Jam's day-to-day operations in the field and office, and to oversee growth from individuals and departments related to that. Going into the negotiation process, under preparation, I was analyzing possible process frames and setting my potential walkaway point regarding salary. Then we had relationship building. I've worked with Walt closely for over 2 years, and I speak with him on an extended amount of time nearly every day. Information gathering was discussing management responsibilities with other high-ranking members and studying books on PM responsibilities. Information using, I use these discussions about responsibility to better frame my discussion about taking on the additional work. For bidding, I discuss my desire to oversee the department from a managerial perspective, and I outline my reasoning. I also allowed Walt to respond with his concerns and thoughts. As for closing the deal, we reached agreement on a move towards the new role, and papers would be filed with HR a few days later. As for implementing the agreement, reviews were to be conducted after 3 to 6 and 9 months respectively to focus on previously discussed metrics. Going forward to tactics, we had precedent, which prior to joining the department, Jam had no other active project managers. I was the most experienced by default. For trial balloon, I asked what if I was to take over as the main point of contact for the PM team. Then we had legitimacy. I had emails from members of the department that showed they already viewed me as a leader, and previous figures I worked on showed I had already overhauled since I took over. Then we had association. I was and still am an active participant in the Building Industry Association of San Diego, giving the company more ability to find potential clients. For the central root of influence, we had two-sided messaging. I focused on acknowledging my strengths towards the new position, but also did not hesitate to speak on my lack of managerial experience and why that may be a limiting factor. Then repetition, I made sure to mention how much I wanted this responsibility and how I thought I was the best choice. Then we had persuasive style active participation. During the negotiation, I wanted Walt to know his thoughts on individual areas, and I constantly asked for his opinions. Then we had receiver insight expectations. During the negotiation, I asked Walt what his primary expectations were and how I would be the one to see those. Then we had the peripheral root of influence. We had credibility, which I was the only active PM at the time. Source attractiveness, I had a very friendly mentor-mentee relationship with Walt. Commitment, I made sure he knew that I was a suitable choice and I took detailed notes about the meeting. And then scarcity, for a significant period of time, I was the only active PM at Jam. Going into substantive frames, we had department oversight, and I was to be made the department head, allowing me to oversee the PM team. Salary structure, which was a change from my hourly payment structure to salary. 90-day review. Frequent reviews on the team and on the specific work of myself were to be conducted every 90 days. There was the support network. The new position would continue to support my outside work with the BIA, and then additional changes where I was to receive my own office and business cards as part of the move. Going into procedural frames, we had meeting setting. I wanted to have this meeting face-to-face and I respected his authority by having it in his office as well. Then we had the accountability chart discussion. Throughout the meeting, Walt made it clear that the accountability chart was an item that the company was very high on. We spent time discussing the reasoning for it, as well as what it would look like when I would take over. And then there was note-taking. I took notes on everything Walter said, from questions about my desire for the position to concerns he may have had. As you can see here on the network diagram, both Walt and myself were positioned around the star rating. Outcome and lessons learned. We came to a verbal and formal agreement for myself to change from project manager to department head of project management. My salary change went from an hourly structure to salary. An agreement on our 90-day reviews as a normal procedure, and we needed 3 meetings to iron out these details. For lessons learned, I learned about confidence being key, My relationship with Walter was paramount to the success of my promotional pitch. Procedural framing as both preparation and implementation helps to keep me on track, and that tactics and frames work hand in hand. Finally, criticisms. Salary was not a huge focus of my negotiation, where I wish it had been, and while I prepared in a way that I thought was adequate, there were items that I should have thought of. My biggest regret was I was tentative on issues I should have prioritized, and my frames approach was overall lacking. What I would have done differently, I would have isolated outcomes that I wanted from the beginning and attacked those much harder. Preparation would have been more concrete from the beginning, with support letters as a potential function. No hesitation, I wanted to be upfront and assess everything better. Frame approach would have been one of the more important of my choices.